I'm going to review how to do some of the problems on the ALEKS review, lesson 10, or from module 10, lessons 5 and 6. It says, and this is question 2, consider the following function. We're going to write this function in vertex form, identify the vertex, and then graph it. So to do this, I'm going to come over here. I'm going to complete the square for this one. So to complete the square, I want this 20 to be on the other side. So to get that 20 to the other side, I'm going to subtract 20. When I subtract 20 on both sides, and for g of x, I'm just going to put a y. So right now I have y minus 20 plus blank equals, and then on the other side, I'm taking this 3x squared plus 18x, and I'm going to factor out a 3. And that's going to leave us with x squared, and then 18 divided by 3 is 6. So I have 6x plus blank. Now that 3 is going to be my a in my formula. Now to complete the square in the parentheses, I take my b, and my b is 6. I divide that in half, and then I square it. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 3 squared is 9. So I have a 9 here, but I'm not really adding 9 to both sides because remember I factor out a 3 first. So now I have to multiply 3 times 9, which gives me 27. So what I'm really doing is adding 27 to both sides. So I'm going to put a plus 27 over here. And now I have y minus 20 plus 27, which equals y plus 7 equals 3 times, and then this is a perfect square trinomial, which I can write that as x plus 3 squared. And for that one, all I'm using is the formula a squared plus 2ab plus b squared, because that can be rewritten as a plus b squared. So all I'm doing is finding the square root of this number, square root of this number, and using that symbol. Now all I have to do is subtract 7 on both sides, and now I have y equals 3 times x plus 3 squared minus 7. And that's my vertex form. So I'm going to go over back to ALEKS, and I'm going to type that in. So I have 3 parentheses x plus 3 squared, and then it was minus 7. I'm just going to go back, double check that's what I have. Yep, 3 times x plus 3 squared minus 7. So that means my vertex is at what's going to make this equal to 0, be a negative 3, and my k is a negative 7. So that's my vertex. So now I'm going to come down here to my graph, and I'm going to plot my vertex. So I'm just going to type in negative 3, negative 7, and plot that point. And let me just bring this down just a tad so you can see what I'm plotting in there. Okay, and then I'm going to use my calculator for the other parts. So I would use my calculator here, so I'm going to go to y equals, just clear what I have here, and I'm just going to type in my equation that I had. So 3 parentheses x plus 3 end parentheses squared minus 7. And I'm going to go to the table feature, so hit second, graph, and I need to find my vertex, which was at negative 3, negative 7. So now you can see here's negative 3, negative 7, and they repeat on each side. So I'm going to do negative 4, and negative 5, 5. So negative 4, I'll plot first. and then it was negative 5, 5. Going back to my calculator. Now I'm going to do the other side of the negative 3. So I'm going to do negative 2, 4, and negative 1, 5. So negative 2, negative 4, and negative 1, 5. Now you can see my parabola there. All I have to do now is just hit the button here and it matches up with my points. And then all I have to do now is just check my solution. Okay, so that one was correct. Now to continue, I'm going to go to number 3. Number 3, here's my problem. I have x squared minus 10x plus 28. They want us to put that in vertex form. So I'm going to do that with this one. So in vertex form, I'm going to get this plus 28 to the other side. So I'm going to add 28 on both sides. Or subtract 28. So subtract 28. So now I have, I'm going to use y instead of g of x. So I have y minus 28 plus blank equals. Now on this side, I don't need to factor anything out. So I have like an x squared minus 10x plus blank. So I take my b, which is negative 10, and I'm going to divide that by 2, which gives us negative 5, and I square it, which gives me 25. So this is a 25, so I'm really adding 25 to both sides. And now I have y minus 3 over here equals, and here I have perfect square trinomial, which will make this x minus 5 squared. And then all I have to do is just add 3 to both sides. And my equation would be y equals x minus 5 squared plus 3. So now I'm going to go back to ALEKS, and I'm going to type that in here. So I have parentheses x minus 5 and parentheses raised to the second power. And then it was plus 3. Just want to verify that's what I had. Yep. Now, part B says find the equation of the axis of symmetry. So the axis of symmetry is my x-coordinate on my vertex. So I have to write it as an equation, so it'd be x equaling, my h right here is a 5. So I'm going to put a 5 here. Because my parabola is positive, it opens upward. And if it opens upward, that means I have a minimum. And then the function's minimum value. So what is the lowest value it gets, which is my vertex, my k, which would be a 3. So I'm going to have, that one is going to be 3. And then I do, for what input of x does the minimum or maximum value occur? So when does the minimum occur? When x is negative, when x is 5. And then from this point, I can now check my answer. And that was correct. So for this one, all you're doing is putting in vertex form, and your rest of the answers are going to be the vertex. So axis of symmetry is your x term. The function's value of your minimum or maximum is your y coordinate of your vertex. And then E is always going to be your x coordinates of your vertex. Okay, and then question 4. Question 4, it says a ball is thrown vertically upward. After t seconds, its height, h in feet, is given by the function h of t equaling 104t minus 16t squared. After how long will it reach its maximum height? So we're finding the vertex, and we're looking at the x-coordinate of the vertex. So in other words, we're finding the axis of symmetry. Now there's a couple ways you can do this. You can take your b, which is 104, take the opposite of -4, positive 104, which would be a -104, divide it by 2a. Or you can go on your calculator, go to the y equals, and type in that equation, which will be -16 x squared plus 104 x. And then if I go to graph, I'm going to have to make my Windows settings. So let me go back to Zoom. See if I can see it here. I can see part of it, so I have to extend my x maximum. So I'm going to go, I'll go 30. And I'm going to count by tens. My y minimum, I'll keep it -10. The maximum, let me just go 200, count by 50s. Let's see if that shows up. There we go. I need to find the x coordinate. So if I go straight down, so to do that, I'm going to hit second, trace. I want to find the maximum, so number 4. So left bound, I want to be on the left-hand side of the axis of symmetry, or the vertex. So enter, right bound, go to the right side, hit enter a third time, and it will tell us 3.25. And here we're not supposed to round off. So let me just double check I have my equation correct. Okay, that would be here. So here we go. If I go back to my graph and do that again, so second trace, I'm doing the, actually I'm not going to do that. It'll be quicker if we just do -b divided by 2a. So I'm going to go back to here. I'm just going to use this one. So my b, so I'm using the formula -b divided by 2a. My b is 104 divided by 2a, and my a is -16. And if I do 104 divided by -104 divided by -32, that's going to give me 3.25. Now, if I went back to my calculator, I had 3.24, and I think it was like 9999. That means it was 3.24. But let me just go back to that. So I'm going to have a maximum at 4. Left bound, hit enter, right bound, hit enter a third time. So 3.25 with 0.000125 means 3.25. So I'm going to go back to my calculator, or my ALEKS, and type in 3.25 because it says do not round, so it has to be a terminating decimal. Otherwise, if you did a -104 divided by -32, or -32, you would get 3.25. Now to check my solution, that was correct. And that was all of your 3 questions that you had questions on for your ALEKS assignment.